Hi, my name is Jonathan. Democrats, Republicans. There is this dialectic in this country, in the United States of America, that is quite artificial. This whole culture war between liberals and conservatives is actually in our head. It's actually imaginary. Now, first of all, our two-party political system is owned exclusively by our US-based multinational corporations. So the Democrats and Republicans, they do not have the best interest of the American people in their minds. So they do not have your best interest in your mind, both the Democrats and Republicans. So this whole culture war between Democrats and Republicans, it's all imaginary. It's all in your head. It's all artificial. I mean, it's a classic example of the tactic of divide and conquer. It's used by the elite class within this country to divide the working class. So this is like conservatives versus Republicans. It's all class warfare by the elites of this country against the working class. So we as the American people should think for ourselves. We should not feel forced to fit into a certain mold. I mean, we as American people, we grow up in this country feeling forced to fit into a certain political mold, either conservatives or Republicans, liberals or conservatives. And me growing up in this country, I feel pressured to choose between one of two camps. And I personally think, if it's conspiracy theory or not, it plays into the elite class controlling their narrative of our political philosophy, controlling the working class. And like the best example, the best evidence that it is an actual intentional conspiracy is our media. Like our media, the US media, controls this narrative of the American people being exclusively either Republican or Democrat, conservative or liberal. And our media just pressures us into choosing between one of two camps, either Republican or Democrat, conservative, or liberal. And that is really not what the American people are like. I mean, in general, the American people, all of us share the same traits. All of us share the same values. We are not divided into two worlds. As American people, we're not divided into two separate Americas. I mean, most of America does generally vote independently. We do vote independently, and we do, like, the legacy of being an American is thinking independently, is choosing our own values. And Americans tend to hold those values in general, thinking independently and just having a creativity to our morals and to what we choose to believe in. That is the legacy of being an American. And so generally, all Americans do generally want to think independently, and that's thinking independently brings us together as Americans. That brings us national cohesion, thinking independently. But our media pressures us, the US media pressures us into choosing one of two camps, either liberal or Democrat. And so that makes me think that that is evidence of a conspiracy by the elites against the working class. So I challenge you as Americans to continue to think independently. Do not feel pressured to choose either exclusively conservative, exclusively liberal. I mean, you are allowed as an American to choose a combination of both camps. And do not feel pressure to choose one of those two molds. So nothing is black and white. Nothing is ever black and white. Like our media, we feel there is this atmosphere in our country, an atmosphere of fear, that if you do not choose between liberal and Democrat, you will be ostracized as an American. Like, we feel this pressure as Americans that there is safety in groups. Like, we feel comfortable choosing each one of two groups, because if we are attacked for our values, our beliefs, then we have something to back us up. So that is like a wimpy stance to like joining one of those two groups, you know, so that you are comfortable if you are attacked, like you have people to back you up. But that is also not just an example of being a wimp, but that's an example of laziness. I mean, in general, there is this current in American culture of laziness, of not thinking critically. So as Americans, because our legacy is thinking independently, I challenge you to go against the mold of your liberal and conservative, and just, yeah, look, okay, what am I saying? Yeah, just assuming being exclusively liberal, exclusively liberal or conservative is just succumbing to laziness, basically. And laziness causes simplified thinking. It causes being simple, just being assuming the label of either of conservative or liberal. And laziness also affects simplified thinking. So being simple, simplified thinking is both the cause and effect of laziness. So I challenge you as an American to go against that mold, to think critically, to think creatively. And yeah, what am I saying? So yeah, this whole Republican, Democrat, liberal, conservative, it's an artificial structure of class warfare. It's intentional class warfare by the elite class in the country against the working class. Like, for the most part, this culture war, it's all in your head. I mean, liberals, conservatives, it's all in your head, because American people are generally, we are all share the same values, share the same traits. And this is an example of psychological warfare by the elites in this country against the working class, pressuring you to choose between liberal or Democrat, when you have the choice, the freedom to choose a combination of both. It's psychological warfare by the elites in this country against the working class. So yeah, like the media forces you to choose one of two. And as I said, Americans generally, we share the same values, and I think I'm rambling now. So yeah, so like in this country, the media portrays people as there's this prototype conservative and this prototype liberal. I mean, we have in our minds what a conservative looks like, and we have in our minds what a liberal looks like. And we assume half of the country is this prototype conservative, and the other half of this country is this prototype liberal. When in fact the case is there is not a single American that fits that mold of the conservative. There is not an American that fits that mold of the liberal. Unless you are just completely lazy and you just are absorbed with the media and you choose out of laziness to conform to that mold of liberal or that form, or conform to that mold of a conservative. But generally Americans, we want to combine platforms of both camps. So, like, what am I saying? So yeah, ways to escape this dialectic. A couple ways to escape, like I said, to escape this dialectic of conservative or liberal is to, first of all, like I said, is to think independently, be brave, have courage to choose what you believe in, a combination of both camps, okay? You have the freedom to do that. Second of all, to escape this whole dialectic is to don't vote. I mean, just do not participate in our whole electoral system to begin with. I mean, first of all, the ballot box, the electoral system, is the least effective method of a democracy, okay? Because it can be manipulated, and it's like only 5 minutes out of 4 years you vote for like 5 minutes in the presidential elections. Like, there's so many other things you can do to participate in a democracy. So the ballot box is the least effective method of participating in a democracy. So don't vote at all if you want to escape this whole dialectic. And this last thing I want to say is, me as an example, me myself, my political platform is I am an anarcho-socialist. I'm an anarchist, and I'm very left-wing. And at the same time, I am very religious. I'm very a spiritual person. So like some of my, like I am a combination of pro-life and pro-choice. I'm not able to decide. In the end, I am pro-choice because I believe abortion should be legal. But I do believe that a fetus is a human being. So that's one example. Like I'm quite a spiritual and religious person. But I'm also very far left wing. So that's an example of how I share values of both camps, liberal and conservative. So you are allowed to do that. Like, and me myself, I am very anti-Obama. I am even more anti-Obama than most conservatives, even though I'm very left-wing. I'm an anarcho-socialist. And like I believe Obama is a bigger capitalist than Ronald Reagan ever imagined, ever dreamed to be. Like, I mean, I think that's been obvious with the whole stimulus package, giving all this money to the banks and all that. Like, Obama is a bigger capitalist than Ronald Reagan. So, like, okay, my opinion. So, yeah, I'm encouraging Americans to escape this whole dialectic of Republican, Democrat, conservative, liberal, and to think for yourself, escape the mold, and just critically think about everything you believe in, and just escape this whole class warfare by the elites in this country to divide the American people. Called the culture war is psychological warfare against the American people. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you.